Drops and Words is up next. The gorgeous hostess is Mrs. Shabnam Samuel Takar. She's a famous author. We're all awaiting for the release of her beautiful book. Miss Takar is also a world traveler and just arrived back here in the US from her international travel. This week on screen, Shabnam ji will present a good friend of mine. Her good name is Mrs. Jayanti Pain Ganguly. Let's meet her.
Good morning and welcome to Dewdrops and Words. One of the most remarkable takeaways from the show for me has been the amazing talent that I've had the good fortune to mingle with and to talk to. So many diverse fields, such a talented pool we have here. Now, other than her talent, the other thing that sets our guests of today apart is that she's trained in not one, not two, but 3 classical forms of Indian dance styles. It is with immense pleasure I introduce you all to Jayanti Pain Ganguly, the versatile Odissi, Kathak and Mohiniyattam dancer. Many of us here in this area have had the good fortune to see her perform. Thank you so much for being here, Jayanti.
Thank you so much, Shabnam, for inviting me.
You are so welcome. Now, so Jayanti, tell us about your journey, your career, or whatever you want to call it, as a performing artist, as a teacher, as a choreographer. Where did it all start for you?
My training in classical Indian dance started at home in America with my mother, Mrs. Julie Pain, who was my first guru. When I was growing up here, long time ago, I learned the basics of Indian classical dance from my mother. After that, I had returned to India to live there for 4 years with my entire family. In those 4 years, I trained in 2 different classical dance styles in the city of Calcutta. There, I performed professionally with the troupe of Mr. Ananda Shankar, who is the son of Uday Shankar, late Uday Shankar. Mm-hmm. And I performed for 4 years in his dance company. And at the same time, I was undergoing classical dance training from very renowned gurus in Calcutta.
So now, what challenges do you face in this profession? I mean, everything looks so glamorous on stage, but what challenges do you really face?
When you're young, there isn't many challenges. The only challenges when you're young is will your body cooperate? The demands of the hours of practice and performance, late performances ending at late hours, can you keep up? That's the challenge when you're young. There really isn't any obstacles other than maintaining your schedule. After you become married, you're a housewife, then you're a mother. Once you become a mother and you are a teacher as well as a choreographer, performance becomes very, very difficult. It's very challenging to keep to any schedule. Right. It's a constant test, and you have to mind your body, you have to mind your spirits. So there's a lot of balancing. It's a lot of balancing act.
I hear you. Now, not living in India, do you ever feel that you don't have access to your art as much as you would like to? Because since that is the hub and the origin of your dances, do you ever feel living in America you don't have that?
Well,
or you're missing something?
That was the case before, about 10 to 15 to 20 years before. And lucky for me, my training with all of my gurus was so solid that they gave me a very in-depth package for my life to carry on with me. But yes, you do miss upkeep and what's going on in the world of performance. But today, with the internet, with YouTube, with Skype, you can easily contact your gurus, your dancer friends, and if you have any questions, they can easily help you. And other than that, a lot of performing artist groups are coming to America to perform, to do lectures and demonstrations, and to teach you in your private home. So it's gotten a lot better, but there is nothing like training in India. There is nothing like performing in India.
I would think so, yeah. Now, this last question is actually for me. It's a personal question from me. You and I have been friends for more than 2 decades. But I'm sure you never knew that I was a closet Odissi dancer.
No!
Okay.
Oh my goodness!
So I grew up with an older sister, who excelled in Odissi. And I had always wanted to learn, was never given the opportunity. Is there an age limit to when somebody can learn or not learn?
There really isn't. There really isn't. And a lot of it depends on how you look at it. The gurus in the past probably thought, okay, by 10, by 14, you should be doing your graduation. Perhaps people thought, by 25, you shouldn't be even attempting. Nowadays, my students are 40 and above. Some of them started at 40. So there really isn't. And the approach to classical Indian dance has changed too. We are mothers performing, teaching, and choreographing classical Indian dance at this point. There are many, many mothers. And then there are women who are not mothers, but they're above the age of 35 who have started to learn.
So if somebody out there wants to start Odissi or Kathak or Mohiniyattam, how do they get in touch with you?
All they have to do is call me.
But how would they call you?
Well, they can find the number at the bottom of the screen. You're most welcome to join me and my dancers. Come to my school. I teach classical Kathak, classical Odissi, and classical Mohiniyattam to adults. But classical Kathak and classical Odissi to young girls and boys as well as adults.
Thank you so much, Jayanti, and you never know who your next student is going to be.
Thank you, Shabnam. I'm honored to be here. Thank you.
Welcome.